welcome back. We're tracking the latest developments that's coming in from the Gaza Strip. Hamas has now released 7 hostages into the custody of the Red Cross on Monday. The first to be released as part of a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. There was no immediate information on their condition. Hamas has said that 20 living hostages will be exchanged for over 1,900 Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. Families and friends of hostages broke out into wild cheers as Israeli television channels announced that the hostages were in the hands of the Red Cross. Tens of thousands of Israelis are watching the transfers at public screenings across the country, with a major event being held in Tel Aviv. The packed crowd in Hostages Square erupted in cheers as the names of the hostages to be released were read on local television. They clapped and chanted to bring them home now. Joining me live on the broadcast is Ambassador Yogesh Gupta, who's a former diplomat, and I also will be having Ambassador Suresh Goyal, who is a former diplomat, with me on the panel. I want to go across to Ambassador Goyal. We are seeing live visuals from Tel Aviv. People are really happy that finally there is a positive step in this war that has been waged since so many years.
Absolutely. Frankly speaking, this is a good step towards really having a ceasefire in the area, which has been long waited by both sides, both the Palestinian and the Israeli. Therefore, a very good development, very encouraging, and I do hope that it is soon followed by the release of Palestinian prisoners by Israel. So in that sense, a very positive development. What I am hoping for is that there will be no further obstructions in the implementation of the ceasefire in the area and the political process to bring the lasting peace, which is the most important part really to finally end the hostilities between the two sides. But that is something which is very, very iffy, and we have to wait for it to start after the exchange of the hostages and the Palestinian prisoners. Very encouraging.
Absolutely, Ambassador Goyal, some really encouraging visuals coming in from Tel Aviv over there, and people in fact waiting with bated breath for the release of more of these hostages, which Hamas has said that they will be releasing in batches and from different locations. How do you see this entire negotiation that's been going on between both the parties? Do you think that Hamas has agreed to this first step only because going forward it wants to gain some international legitimacy?
I don't think Hamas is looking at international legitimacy really for itself, but Hamas is looking for a political pivot in the area, and that political strategic pivot had begun to be affected by this long drawn-out war between the two sides. So it is essentially Hamas is trying to preserve a role for itself in the future of Palestine and in the future of the region. That is the most important part. As far as and that can be done only if in the future peace process Hamas has a role, and that's the reason Hamas has declined to disarm itself. So that's the most important part. Let us see what happens. There are so many ifs and buts. There are so many still uncertainties in the way forward. It is very difficult to be certain as to how it is going to go further.
Absolutely. I think Ambassador Yogesh Gupta is also on the panel with us. Ambassador Gupta, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time. Firstly, your reactions on this positive development that's coming in from Tel Aviv. Then we'll move on to some sticking points in this entire peace plan that's happening.
Well, it is important to understand that lot of pressure was applied on Hamas by Turkey, Qatar, Egypt, and other countries. And they were persuaded by them to agree to this peace plan and release these hostages because President Trump took the help of all these countries. And these countries, they sort of provide vital assistance to Hamas. Some of them, are giving refuge to Hamas leaders. Some are giving financial assistance to them. Some are supplying them arms. So Hamas couldn't refuse them. So, this is happening because of this concerted pressure. Now, one doesn't know how much commitment Hamas will have to this deal because they have had some differences on the issue of disarming themselves, because their worry is that what happens if Israel again starts a war? What happens if Israel again starts attacking the Hamas or the Palestinians? And once they have surrendered the arms, then they won't be able to do anything. And then I think President Trump, he intervened and said that he will take guarantee that Israel will not attack. So that is where we are. But let us hope that things will go as planned, things will work out, and some sort of peace will be established, the war will come to an end. Now, whether this is going to lead to a solution of the Palestinian problem, that is something totally different. I mean, that is, it's very difficult to say at this point whether, because Israel is not committed to the establishment of a separate state for Palestine. Prime Minister Netanyahu has clearly said that he doesn't see that possibility, whereas other countries are trying to establish some kind of a state for Palestine. So that is where we are.
Absolutely. I'd like to bring in some breaking news that's coming in. 7 hostages who have been released